What's up, fuckers? I'm Nick, also known as Fowler, also known as Nick. I just ate 2 granola bars and I'm fucking ready to rock. Today, we're going to listen to some tunes, and we're going to berate them in the most gentle way possible. I'm also going to turn my phone on vibrate. Thank you, Morgan, for wishing me a good stream. Let's hop over to FL Studio. Before we do, if you want to have your tracks featured on this sort of thing, go to this sort of thing right there. My arms are backwards. Anyway, go to my Discord. You can submit your tracks. We'll have a listen, and we'll let you know what we think of them. Okay, first up, we got Ray 4. Okay, don't know who the artist is, don't know what the title of the song is, but that's okay. Let's have a listen to what it sounds like. Oh, is there a newer version? I'm going to listen to this one, but if there's a newer version, let me know if it sounds different. Okay, so there's a lot of really cool sound design things happening here. I like all of the little, like, there's a lot of cool stuff, but the arrangement, like Rayhem says, way too much fake out. Yeah, like I kind of felt led on almost, like the build, it took us a minute 20, I think. Yeah, it's like a fake out into 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 the drop. And I feel like that could be managed a little bit better to control the flow of energy, you know, get people hyped up and then give them something to be hyped up about instead of like trying to like tease them along forever. Yeah, it's there's a lot of cool stuff happening, but the arrangement doesn't capture my attention because it's too long. And let me listen to this first part again for a second. Yeah, I feel like this, man, I feel like you should be able to get to the drop probably by like 40 seconds in. Right off the bat, you could probably cut this initial build-up part in half, you know? Let's say it starts there. Like, even right here, you could probably just go to this section. Obviously, these cuts aren't going to be on time. You know, like it could almost be this. I know we're missing a lot of like the cool build stuff that you used, but I feel like you could probably get through it a little quicker. Because if you drew out like a line of the energy or the anticipation, it would kind of just be jagged. It wouldn't have this kind of like building up to a drop, delivering on the drop, etc. So that's my main concern with this track. And I know that it's probably pretty early on in the writing because it's, you know, it's only a minute long. Well, actually, it's longer because I cut it. But anyway, you get my point. I know that you're probably just starting to build the track, but I would try to I would try to get the track moving a little quicker because this stuff is cool, but it's not cool enough to rock for like 30 seconds, you know? And then all these fake outs and stuff, they just kind of break up the energy. They're almost like it's a bit clunky when it gets to that spot. All the sound stuff that's happening is cool, and you could certainly implement all that throughout the track. But yeah, I would say your next move is to get the build up so that I get excited listening to it, and then right when I can't take the build up anymore, boom, you hit it with the drop. That's my suggestion. But very cool sound design, and keep going with it. Cool. Thanks for sending. All right, let's move on. 720, another drop. All right, let's have a listen.
What do you think, I was born yesterday? Like the ass.
What did that say?
Like the ass.
It also says, it sounds like you say up the ass.
Like the ass.
Yes, finally somebody used the spectrogram to paint something on stream. I'm surprised it's taken this long. We've done this for like over a year, pretty much every single week, and it's taken this long for somebody to paint something in the spectrogram. That's dope. It's like a little mini truck. Anyway, okay, my thoughts on the track. It's very, very much way too loud in terms of the mastering. I also, for this halftime part, I think it needs like a snare. Let's see what happens if we go to snares and just get wicked snares, just anything. Sure, let's throw that in there. Because like the snare, it just doesn't sound like anything, or the clap, or whatever sound it is. It doesn't really punch through it all. So like obviously this isn't gonna sound that great. But you can hear how it's kind of like you get the kick punching through and cutting through the mix. You got this transient off the kick, and you get the punch and the power, but then the snare doesn't keep up with the same kind of punch as the don't think snare is the play for this. I don't know. I personally think it is. I think like unless you're doing like a 4 to the floor kick and you layer the kick with the clap, but like I think the snare is the way to go, but I don't really know this genre very well. It's kind of like it's like a wall of sound. So if the kick and the snare don't cut through, then we just have kind of wall of sound. But since I kind of side chained it roughly by just automating the volume.
What do you think, I was born?
I don't know. I think that's the move. I think overall the color bass kind of sound like that, the inharmonic kind of I think it's a bit loud, and it makes me wonder what notes actually being played.
Yesterday. Popping like the ass.
And it gets maybe a little tiresome hearing that da 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 thing over and over and over again. It sounds cool, like I like I like where it's going. But you can really hear the over compression because like the clap or the snare or whatever the sound is happening, it's just underneath everything. Like you have to really kind of try and listen for it. I like all your fills and stuff. It's cool, all the little turnarounds and the vocal chops and shit. Like that's all really cool. I think this is mostly suffering from over compression, probably in the master bus. It sounds like it's really squished in the master, and not managing the drum sounds properly so that they punch when they should punch. It sounds to me like you're trying to be too loud. And if you just dial back the loudness a little bit and allow the kick and the snare to punch through, I think overall it's going to sound better. And then eventually you'll be able to get the volume where you want it, and still have like a good sounding mix. So yeah, it's a cool whip. It's obviously early on in the writing stage, just guessing by the length of it. Maybe like layer like a gritty bass with the sub bass, to make it a bit more obvious like what note is being played, because the it's kind of, it doesn't really have like a note, you know. It's kind of like I can't say what note that is, and that's just kind of the type of sound it is, really. But yeah, those are my thoughts. I think it's cool. It's a cool idea, and with a little bit of work, it's definitely got some potential. Thank you for sending. Let's move on to the third track. What do we got? Overthinker, Overdose, and Parabellum Demo. Okay, let's have a listen. Oh, maybe it's Overthinker and Overdose. The song is called Parabellum.
Ridiculous.
Okay, yeah, that was sick. Musically, I love it. I love that the minor major modulation thing. That's really cool. I think generally, what did I feel? I felt like it was a bit scooped in the mid range, like in the drops. Let's listen again for a sec. So, it needs vocals. The way that you're setting it up, it's very like vocal sounding. Like it sounds like it needs uh, a hook or something, you know. I don't know if that's what you planned or not, but that's what it sounds like to me. It sounds amazing, and it sounds like a vocal would really set it off. And I agree, the low mid sound a bit dipped. Um It might just be a matter of like it sounds like your sub bass isn't just a sine wave. It sounds like it's built off of like a filtered saw or something like that. Maybe it's just a matter of EQing a bit of low mids into the sub range, or maybe it's another bass that kind of adds a girthy layer to it to add to tie it to the rest of the song, because you got like a lot of brightness and then you got like this sub bass. There's not a lot of stuff tying those two things together. And then another thing I noticed it more on the second drop than I did the first drop, was the snare sounds like it's lacking the top end a little bit. Like the snare has a lot of tone to it, like dunk, like that the punch, but I'm missing kind of, maybe it's just like it needs a tail. Like if I do this, oh, I guess I need to open the browser first. Maybe that, I don't know. It kind of just, to me, it sounds a little too much body and not enough top end. Let's bring this over. Well, that sounded like garbage, but yeah, it doesn't need much, but I do feel I feel like the snare is just a little too biased towards the fundamental tone, like the thunk of it. This is a good example of how loud the sub bass is versus like the kind of mid range right here. But I think the biggest thing that you need to do is try to find a vocalist for it, because it sounds like it would be a really, really cool track for vocals. And maybe it's a demo to ship around to some vocalists and get them to sing on it. I'm not sure, but I think that's, once you get vocals on this, it's gonna be fucking killer. And then all the other little, the mid range and the snare problems, that's all just stuff that you kind of can work out in the mixing and mastering stage. But yeah, sounds dope. Get a vocalist on it. That's my main thought. All right, let's move on to Net Felix. What do we got? Believe remix, original by Aaron Show 10 February.
Wait.
What's up, Moy? Yeah, this I like the jazzy bit, but there's a couple spicy notes in there that are a little too spicy for my taste. Specifically, that. I don't know. I'm just not a fan of that note. Except the melody of like the top piano notes feels a little random, kind of like you picked out notes from like a hat and like played them. Okay, this is another thing I thought back in this first build. The transient on the kick in the build is like really intense. It's like a laser beam zapping. It's like zoop zoop. It's too zapped. I would dull that down a little bit. What's up, the Australian gamer? I'm doing well. I hope you are as well. Well. Okay, so my overall thought on this track is that you should pick one of these cool ideas and build a track around it. To me, the track just kind of goes everywhere. Like it's all over the place, and that can be kind of cool, but to me, I think that picking these chonky drops and then maybe swapping the vocals out for like something that's not overused. Like maybe get some original vocals for it or something. And then building a track out of basically these sections, because these sections are by far the coolest. That's part of the original. Which part? Yeah, but are the vocals the only thing that's making this a remix? Because if that's the case, then I would say screw it. I think the jazzy bits might work. I don't know. You might be able to make another song out of that. To me, the original. I'm not quite sure of, and also thank you for enjoying my song Hot Australian Gamer Man or Woman. Yeah, to me, the jazzy parts are like, I don't know, I don't really love them. To me, these are the strongest bits. It's cool shit. It gets really cool. But it's on a kind of big label. The original has... Yeah, what else from the original track? Okay, all right. I'm not going to try to tell you to not make it into a remix, because obviously it started as a remix. Maybe that's how you want to go. That's fine. Let me take that into consideration. Hold on. Oh, and the chords. Okay. I don't know. I'm kind of struggling with what to tell you on this one. If you want to keep it as a remix because like you're doing it for a specific reason or whatever, then there's obviously nothing wrong with that. I just think that these parts get a bit messy with like the Reese and the jazz chords and the shift, the one semitone down shift and the semitone up shift. It gets a little bit kind of muddy and too jazzy and dissonant. But then when it drops into, I just think that part's sick, and I think the drops are way more cool than the not drop parts of this song. So take that with a grain of salt and do with that information what you will. But that's my honest opinion, is that the other parts I could kind of take it or leave it. Like, they're too jazzy for me, and they kind of just get like. I kind of have the same opinion. Yes. What's up, Swiss cheese? Yeah, those are my thoughts. I think the drops are sick. And if you decide to not do a remix, I would make the breakdown and build up sections less jazzy and get an original vocal on it, and I think it would be super sick. But do whatever you want because it's your music. I think it's cool. I think the whole thing is cool. I just think that the drops are like an 8 out of 10 and the not drops are like a 5 or 6 out of 10. And I hope that is helpful and doesn't just hurt your feelings. Okay, cool. Thanks for sending. Good luck with it. All right, we got Losing You, The Falling Leaves. I don't know if that's like the title and the artist, but anyway, let's have a listen. Okay, so this went from like me not liking it at all to it getting really good. So I think we shouldn't have to wait a minute to get more than just ding, 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 ding. Like, this is infinitely better sounding when you start moving around chords. I don't know what the point of having a minute of just the ding dings is doing. I don't think that's the move. I think getting into these chords a lot sooner is the way to go. Like, you could maybe like play a measure of. Extended mix. Yeah, okay, if you want to do like an extended DJ mix, then rely more on the drums and not necessarily the ding 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 ding, because it's not a great sound. As I'm assuming this is Swiss cheese based on Raham's comment. The musicality of it is the strength. The sound design is not the strength. So right here we're not really getting any musicality. You're kind of building tension, but then the tension just kind of plateaus for like 35, 40 seconds, and then boom, we're into the good chord stuff. So get there sooner. Also, mix-wise, you have a real resonant peak in one of those instruments around the 300 hertz range. Okay, so the arpeggio thing is really, really, really cool. I tried out the DAW Swiss uses the other day, and trust me, it's an absolute tragedy to use. I feel like what is the reason for Swiss Cheese not using a normal DAW? Is it like can he not install things on his computer or something like that? Hey Tesseract, no, I haven't checked out your track yet. You're good. Whatever it is, we need like a Kickstarter program to get this guy a proper DAW. I mean, like, you clearly have musical skills. It's just parents don't allow me. It's impossible how the guy makes music in SoundStation. Yeah, like when you listen to this, it's like it's unbelievable that you're able to make it sound as good as it does with the tool that you're using. FL is also 128 pounds. Honestly, I would be down to donate a copy of FL to him if he was able to install it on something. But anyway, moving on. The harp thing, I don't mind the notes it's playing, but again, the sound of the harp just sounds like a MIDI harp. It kind of puts me back in like, you know, MS-DOS game vibes. Yeah, but Moy, the thing is, he makes this on a web-based DAW where you can't like use third-party VSTs or any plugins and stuff. Like he makes this on a web browser. So it's just I wish that he had like a real DAW where he could load up better sounds and stuff, because I always have the same comments on all of his tracks, and it's basically that the music part of it is great, the sound part of it is not great. You know, that's always the same comment on pretty much every single thing he sends in. Anyway, yeah, for my feedback, I would say get into the good chords a lot sooner. That the synth like arpeggio thing is really, really good. I would use that. I would like focus the track on that thing. I would focus that, or focus on that in the second drop instead of this harp sound, because the harp sound is just like you know, meh. But the synth thing is fucking sick. Yeah, I think the problem is just not even, like Raham says, not obtaining it, but like not being allowed to install it on a computer. But anyway, it's very good. Swiss Cheese, as always, musical part of it is very good. You gotta, at some point, you're gonna have to get out of the web browser and be able to use some better sounding plugins that are more on par with your musical skills. So yeah. Those are my thoughts. Thanks for sending. And at some point, if you are able to download a DAW, I would love to help you in any way I can. Okay, let's have a listen to HHS Frostbite Woodgrain 2.7.23. Okay, I realize that's just the date, but it almost sounds like a version number. Anyway, let's go. Okay, so this gives me like keygen vibes. I like the chiptune influence. That's really cool. Okay, I really like this melody. To me, this is the best part of the track, this melody that's playing, but I don't understand why it's panned slightly to the left. I'm never a fan of panning things like for the sake of panning things. I think if you're going to pan a main element, you got to have something doing the same thing on the other side to balance it, because it's almost like I feel like I'm like having a conversation with somebody, but instead of looking at them like this, I'm like looking at them like this the whole time, because it's almost, you know, like it's like side eye. So I wouldn't get as creative with the panning. I would put the lead in the center because it's the main focus, right? I also what am I trying to say? The production feels a little dated. I think part of that is potentially the fact that I don't think there's any side chaining. The drum samples being used are not particularly punchy. Like the kick drum doesn't really punch through. It's all made in LMMS. I don't know what that means per se. Okay, so that's a limitation of your software. I don't know what that software is, but okay. Maybe it's time to get software that can do side chaining, because to me, the fact that there's no side chaining gives it this kind of dated feel. And I mean, I do side chaining with automation. Maybe you can do side chaining with automation, volume automation. I'm not sure. But if what you're using doesn't have side chaining and you want to make electronic music, that's going to be kind of limiting. I like the Seinfeld like mouth sound sample things that are going on. This part's cool. There's a lot of cool stuff in here. I think that the arrangement is maybe a little long for what it is, because I feel like I'm enjoying each section, but I feel like the urge to like skip to the next section. I really like that little blink thing. That's fucking cool. So, okay, I guess my thoughts are kind of similar to my last thoughts on the last track. Like, this is very cool, but I feel like you are maybe at the limitations of the software you're using. If you're not able to do side chaining, which is a fairly basic and fundamental thing that you use for producing electronic music, if you're not able to do that in your software, maybe it's time to step it up to a different software. Because like what Raham said, you know, FL versus Ableton versus whatever, like it's all part of your workflow. But if your software just straight up doesn't like offer a specific tool that you require, then it's kind of objectively not a great piece of software for what you're trying to do. So my suggestion would be to perhaps upgrade to a different DAW, and then you'll have sidechaining available. What's up, Hot Boy Hot? For feedback, you go to on this side right there, this link, my Discord server, and submit there. All right, those are my thoughts. I think it's a really cool chiptune-y kind of I don't know what's with a keygen inspired track, but I think that you're limited by the software that you're using. Let's move on. Okay, we got a Dexy and Vimori, nano machines. Okay, here we go.
Nano machines. Nano machines.
All right, let's stop it there for a sec. So my first thought was in here, the mix is not the best. Like it's very wall of sound, wall of harsh mid-range sound with the guitars and stuff. The drums kind of, there's no real punch to them. Like they sound like they're many feet away from us. Like that snare, I can hear it in the distance. It kind of sounds like a Viking at the top of a mountain hitting a snare drum. But then when the dubstep drums come in, it sounds good. Like this part of the mix sounds good to me. This intro bit, not so much. I think that it's just too like messy almost. Like the mix is too messy with all that reverb on the drums and stuff like that. My next thought is,
Nano machines.
like I know the vocals say nano machines and that's cool, but I had to rewind it back because I didn't remember it having any words at all. I think that
Nano machines.
there's so much shit happening with there's like the on top of the vocals that I don't know. I feel like the nano machines is okay, cool. That's the name of the track. But it should be featured a little bit more. Maybe the music pulls way back and you have nano machines and then the drop hits or something.
Nano machines.
Right now it's being kind of construed by the sounds leading up to the drop. Same thing here. Oh wait, where is it?
Nano machines.
Like it's there, but we also have at the same time and like some synth or guitar thing. It makes the vocals feel less important.
Nano machines.
That's actually a really, really good analogy, Katia. That's exactly what it is. It feels more like a watermark for someone who doesn't want to steal your beat. Like, that's pretty much exactly how I feel about it. It feels like an afterthought. It feels like a watermark. If you're going to use the vocal, like, give it to us full blast. Raham says, don't do this automation. I don't know. Like, it might be a little intense. Maybe I get it. Like dropping the master volume for the breakdown sections for sure. People do it. It's not necessary. It might be a little intense the way that you're doing it now, but let's listen. See, the thing is, like, if I wasn't looking at it, I don't know if I would notice that volume dip that much. Anyway, let's keep going. The drops sound great. I don't really have any negative thoughts about the drops. They sound dope. Oh, we got a guitar solo maybe? Okay, so that part with like the that thing, it's a bit it just there's a lot happening and I don't really know what to focus on. So maybe simplify if you're gonna have like a like use it more sparingly or pull out some other stuff to make room for it. But I wasn't really in love with that section, to be honest.
Nano machines.
Okay, this part's dope. Okay, another thought I had. The drops are dope. The track is dope. But when you say nano machines, you might as well be like strawberry shortcake. Like I don't really understand what nano machines have to do with this beat. If it's like about like an apocalyptic fucking swarm of nano machines that are going to eat us alive, that makes more sense. But I'm not really getting that from the vocals. You're just like saying a word. So maybe try and give a little bit more backstory to the nano machines, you know, even if it's like one other line that just like, oh my God, they're coming, or, you know, the nano machines, or I don't know, something to give me a little bit more context. Otherwise, like I said, you might as well just be like Starbucks coffee. Like that's my thought. Because it's super angry and heavy. I just want a little bit more clarification on the context. Like, what the fuck? Why are we saying nano machines and then dropping into a dubstep drop? Yes, I can turn my mic up. Thank you, Fred. Okay, I turned my mic up. I hope that's better. Sorry, I was messing with the volume before stream. I should do that. I'll get this a little closer. How's this? Better? Yeah, okay, so maybe that's better. So those are my thoughts. I think overall, this first section, is it even necessary? Is it doing anything? And then maybe elaborate a little bit more on why you're so angry at the nano machines. Okay, cool. Let's move on. Now, normally I don't do two, but this two from the same person. Mike feedback stream. That's funny. But they said this was a joke, so we'll just skim through it.
What the fuck?
I don't know what the joke is. It kind of sounds like this is happening at a bar and there's people arguing over top of the music.
Peace up, A-Town. The Panther meets the Tiger. Looks like you're fucked.
I mean, like, there's some cool shit in there, but yeah, I agree with Common Kitty. Somebody is being murdered in the background to this track.
Expect the unexpected. The control meets the
Is that the same from the last track? I don't know. Anyway, cool. Okay, let's move on. Bandwave. We got stolen chords. Can't get past this loop. Oh, that's always a thing. Okay, so this is really cool. I actually love the clap. So it's a very polarizing clap because Rayham hates it, but I love it. Yeah, okay, so I think what you need to do is find a melody. I think the melody is going to help you get out of this rut that you're in of just kind of like I feel like you've done a good job at creating all of the tools you need for the rest of the track, but now you need a melody. Maybe it's vocals, maybe it's a synth thing. Once you get a melody, then all of a sudden you can pull things away and have the melody there, and you can build a breakdown around the melody and build back up to a drop, and then you can tease the melody in the drop. But what you have right now is a really good, strong basis to build a dark and dirty dance track. I try to think of another word that starts with a D, and there is none. Yeah, you have a good foundation here, but you're missing like the melody. That sounds like a horrible synth. Shit, let me. Wow, why can't I just have like a decent fucking sound? Okay, here, I'm just gonna. I don't know. I'm just fucking around, but you get the idea. Yeah, I don't think the chord progression is the problem. I think you've trapped yourself in a really good sounding beat, but now you need to turn it into a song. So maybe even just structure out a song. And hell, if you're stuck, take a song that you like that's in this style, load it into your DAW and use it as an arrangement template. Be like, okay, they do this drop, then they do a breakdown, they build it up, they do another drop, they do like a variation on the drop halfway through, they break back down, etc., etc. Use that and fill out whatever DAW you're using, maybe use markers, or maybe just take your drums and build out the arrangement in just with your drums. Once you have an actual like arrangement on your screen, it's a lot easier to sort out than you just having this much density, you know, in the horizontal, and it's all kinds of tracks, but it's only this long. If you just like cut it, you know, move stuff around, blah blah blah, then another build up, and then we get a drop, it might not sound good, but at least you have, you know, okay, now it's in a structure. Now I can, I know what I'm aiming for. I have another drop to do here. So now this breakdown makes more sense to have here. Maybe I can elaborate on the melody a little bit, build it up to the second drop. But I do think the last thing it's missing is a melody of some sort. It's mostly just a bass line, chord progression, and a cool beat. And that's a great place to start, but now you've got to take it somewhere else. And I think the melody is the secret. Cool. Thanks for sending. That was really good. I love the clap. Maybe shorten it a little bit. Maybe then Raham won't hate it. But if you're like me, I just disregard everything Raham says anyway. So, all right, moving on. We got 07 Swimmers. Moy remix. Swimmers, eh? Interesting.
Do you know we are the young girls? We made fast, the stories unfold. Moving slow, we're just killing time. And we know this fear is a crime. Surrender to your love. Surrender to your love. Surrender. Surrender. We are smart. Caught in the tide, pitch black river. Shadows and light into the night. Beautiful swimmer. Terrified, constant river. Shadows and light into the night.
All right, I have two thoughts so far. One is that the vocals are a little bit unintelligible, and that's partially because they might be a little too quiet, but also they're kind of like chorused out or something, and I'm sure that's probably in the original track, but they're the way they're sitting in the mix, I don't really understand much of what they're saying. Maybe they could be compressed a bit and then brought up or something. I'm not quite sure, but I do know that I'm having a hard time understanding what they're saying. And then the next thought that I had, I've already forgotten it. Ah, yes, the dubstep sound. I don't know. I mean, like it's kind of like a throwback, but at the same time, I'm not sure that I don't know if we should be throwing back to that world of dubstep sounds. I think you could have a more interesting sound there. I think that's like old school dubstep, maybe a little too old school dubstep, at least for my tastes. That as soon as I heard the wub wub wub, I was like, damn, we back in like 2008, 2010 here. Okay, keep going. Yeah, I like Net Felix's idea, like a resound or something that's just a little bit more contemporary. Yeah, you might have a hard time getting those vocals to cut through if it's a really shit quality rip of the vocal, because I think they need to be compressed more than anything. They're very dynamic. There's some words that like poke through, and then there's other like passages that are underneath the music. So you could try compressing them, but if the quality is not that great and they're all reverbed out and shit, then the compression's maybe gonna make it sound worse.
Surrender to your love. Surrender to your love. Surrender. Surrender. We are swim. Caught in the dark, pitch black river. Shadows align into the night. Beautiful swim.
I'm assuming you've only used the vocals from the original. I don't know, like, why. It's a dope track. Like, it's really good. It sounds really good. Why not just like write it? Like write the track with somebody else, with a singer, and get them to perform on it and do like a non-remix. I don't know. I'm notorious for just like, why remix? Like, why make a remix, you know? Even though you and I have both remixed each other's songs, but that's a little different. I don't know, man. I think the track is really, really good. I just think it would be better if it had like cleaner vocals, and the way to do that is maybe find a singer.
Caught in the dark, shadows align into the night. Beautiful swim. Losing my heart, constant river. Shadows align.
Dude, there are vocalists out there, and if you rendered this out as a instrumental, actually, yeah, render it out as an instrumental and send it to me, and I'll pass it around to some people I know and see if they're interested. Like even Quinn might be interested in this. I don't know. Give me the instrumental. I'll see if I can find somebody, because to me, I hear a lot of people submitting remixes, and I'm just like, fuck, I know this is just basically an original tune and you didn't have vocals, so you went and got vocals off of some other song, and then now it's a remix. It's like, fuck that. Get like original vocals, make something new, make a new song out of it. But those are my thoughts. I think the track is dope. I think the wubs are maybe a little bit dated in that one section, and get new vocals. Cool. All right. Thank you for sending, Fred. Always a pleasure. Let's have a listen to Xyloid Vibrations. This is quite short. All right, this one's groovy. I thought the intro is too long. Also, I don't really like where that melody lands. Like, do I have a synth? Yes, I do. Wow, I can't get a grasp on this one. Anyway, I think it's just that last note in the melody that I don't know. I really like whatever's in the background. It kind of sounds like there's like a group of people going, oh, or something. Anyway, this is it's a really good vibe. I just think that melody could land a little bit better. I would definitely get the snare sitting a little bit better with the rest of the mix. The snare's pretty pokey, like it sits on top of everything else. Like it maybe is just a matter of turning it down a bit so that it sits with the kick drum. Like in a previous stream I was talking about, instead of having kick, snare, you have kick, crunchy kick, crunchy kick. I think this would benefit from like a crunchy kick as opposed to a kick, snare situation. I kind of like how like lo-fi the drums are. They almost sound like they came off like an old Casio keyboard or something. I don't know. Maybe experiment with the melody. I don't think the melody is as good as it could be. And then keep going with it. It's obviously it's a start, but it's super groovy and it's good. I like it, and I think you should keep going. All right, cool. And yeah, like the mastering and stuff, it wasn't super mastered or whatever, but that's fine. It's just a short idea. All right, let's have a listen. What? We have another Vamori? Holy shit. Okay, Eternity. Okay, I'm gonna stop it here for a sec. Back here, there was lots of cool stuff happening, but I felt like there was too much stuff on top of each other. Let me find an example. Okay, like right there. I don't know how many elements are on top of each other, but there's vocals. There's like this like wow thing. There's a arpeggio. I don't know. I think you might find that if you went and selectively deleted certain elements and certain parts, all of a sudden certain other elements will come through a lot clearer, and it'll be like, oh my God, that sounds dope. Like, wow, that sounds amazing. But right now there's kind of too much stuff on top of each other all of the time. You know what I mean? Like in that section, there's the vocal, and naturally I'm kind of gonna focus on the vocal because I'm a human and it's a human voice. So like I'm gonna listen to the vocal, but there's also and I think there's one other wub going. So maybe try and just like chisel it back to something slightly more, not, I don't want to use the word basic, but a little more concise, you know, like if you're going to showcase this sound, showcase this sound. Doesn't mean it has to be the only sound, but there's certain sounds that don't really play well with other sounds at the same time. And those vocals and the weird wide sounding things. Yeah, I mean, the rest is dope. What's up? I can only imagine your name is pronounced Sick. What's up, Sick? So like kind of like the response. So you got this like call with the vocal in it, and then the response. It's more, I can focus more on the bass, right? It's the easy thing to focus on, but then you get the call. And it's just a bit too chaotic. Okay, let's move on. Yeah, like right here is a good example. I would almost just have the wow almost by itself, maybe with the crash cymbals, but like because there's a lot of really cool sound design that's happening, but when it all happens at the same time, I'm not quite sure what to listen to. And then my final note is maybe that it's just a little too squashed on the master. I know that it's the style and everything, but I do think that it's maybe, I mean, like once you're in the drop, we're basically rail to rail the entire time. So I don't know, maybe experiment with easing off on the master limiter, see if it sounds more punchy, if there's a little bit more like impact to the drums instead of just a gigantic sausage the whole time. But yeah, those are my thoughts. It's very heavy and cool, and thank you for sending. All right, we got Tesseracts right to the left. Right to the left. All right. That very first sound makes me feel like I have water in my ear.
It's caught fire.
Still on fire.
It is the splitter.
Yeah, that's on fire.
Hey, wait a minute. This is something I've wanted to do. I've worked in television for 20 years, never had the chance yet, okay?
Back to the studio.
And that's my line! That's what I wanted to say! May, you this! Vince, back to the studio.
Honestly, I think it's fucking perfect. I wouldn't change a thing. I would just put it out. It's dope. I feel like I should be submitting my tracks to your feedback streams. I wish I had more to say, but I don't. I think it's fucking awesome. I really liked that song. Anybody have any thoughts, any suggestions besides release it as a track onto the internet for the world to hear? Because I don't. I think it's great. And that's all I really have to say. Thank you for sending, and please continue to send because I enjoy. It was wacky and crazy and nuts. Okay, cool. Thank you. Moving on. All right, we got 10 to 2, 10 to 2. Okay, how do I say your name? Is it 10 to 2, like 1:50 p.m.? Or is it like 10 to 2? Or is it teen to toe? I don't know. Maybe let me know so I can pronounce it correctly. Here we go. Wow. Wow. That was fucking ridiculous. Man, I don't even know what to say about this one either. Honestly, it's fucking ridiculous. I think overall it's maybe a little dark, like it could use a bit more high-end frequencies, like what I tried to do just there. Besides that, it's fucking kind of stupid, but like in a good way. It's like a stupid banger, you know? It could be longer, there could be a breakdown, and then, you know, back up to you know, it could be like that maybe. That still only puts you at around 2.5 minutes. So I would say try to add some brightness, like shift the spectrum, because it's kind of like sub bass heavy. It doesn't need to be super bright, and you don't have to pull a bunch of bass out. It just needs a bit of a tilt, and then like make it into a full song so that I can get goofy for longer than 1:14 at a time. That's pretty much my thoughts. Very cool. It made me want to like kick myself in the face a bunch. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but that's what it made me want to do. Thank you for sending. All right. We already listened to Swiss Cheese. What the fuck? Oh, this is the updated one. Okay. Well, we already listened to that one, so we're going to move on. All right. We got more. We got something from Rayhem, a remix from Rayhem. Let's see how much of a fake out this is.
Don't look down. Stars will shine on after they burn out. When all of your doubts turn skies into clouds again. Don't look down. When life gets too You're stuck in time as clouds go by. It gets better, keep your head up. When life gets loud, but there's no sound. It gets better. Don't look down. Stars will after when all of your doubts turn skies into clouds again. Don't look down when life gets too loud.
It sounds really good, man. My only real thought is that the let's see, where are we? The vocals are a bit like heavy down in the fundamental range. I would pull some of her fundamental out.
Look down. Stars will shine on after they burn out.
Yeah, 300 hertz ish, kind of in this area. I also agree with Kadia how it sounds like it's an actual remix. It actually sounds like it could be the original, you know, like it fits the vocal really well. It's super pretty, very emotional. Oops. The only note I have is that the vocals are a bit muddy, a little bit muddy, like heavy in the fundamental range. Maybe it might be a bit wide, like a lot of your elements sound quite wide. Like in this section, there's kind of a beep, 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 beep happening in the background. What if that was a bit more like narrow? Something to balance like you've got these big like Rayhem sounds happening and they're super fucking wide and super present in the mix. It's not like crazy, like the whole mix doesn't sound like artificially widened or anything, but I feel like it's just out of balance a little bit in terms of the stuff that's in the middle and the stuff that's in the outside. Because like musically, I think the only thing we have in the center during the drops is the sub bass. Or if like maybe if the Rayhem sound is made up of multiple layers, maybe one layer goes in the middle or something. But yeah, it's awesome. Honestly, it's a really, really good track. One of my favorites that you've sent.
When
Someday I hope that you'll send a track that doesn't fake out, just to mix it up, you know? All right, thanks for setting. That was really good. Oh, fuck, that was the last one. Shit. Okay. I didn't realize, unless, hey, let's have a listen to this snare again, you know? Nice. Cool. Okay, that was the last track, which is actually kind of good because Morgan and I are doing an early Valentine's Day thing. We're going roller skating or rollerblading because we usually don't do Valentine's Day on Valentine's Day because it's fucking ridiculous outside. So yeah, it's kind of good that we finished up early. It was an hour and a half versus the 2.5 hours we usually go. But I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me and submitting your tracks, and I hope to see you next week. I have recently started a TikTok, and I am vomiting as much TikTok content out as I can. So go find me on TikTok if you're on there, and join the Discord if you haven't. Besides that, have a good weekend. I love you. See you next week. Oh wait, Doofy says a simple request. Okay, Doofy. I'm waiting for your request, unless you were referring to a different thing. Blah, 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 blah. Anyway, okay, Doofy, if you have a request, send it on Discord. Okay, bye.